Well, welcome to Age Friendly, all issues and factors, etc., related to older seniors in our community. Rebecca Johnson, I'm your host of the program. And today we're going to be talking about volunteer week. Month of April is volunteer recognition, and it's very important to identify the fact that just because you're an older adult doesn't mean to say that you're going to sit home and do nothing, but you're going to go out and volunteer. And we have many, many older adults in our community who volunteer. So tonight and today we're going to be talking to 3 different volunteers and what they do. So we're going to start off right now with Sharon Otway. And Sharon, you have been volunteering, you tell me, for quite a number of years.
Yes.
So what do you do as a volunteer?
Well, to start,
just give me a starting
rundown.
point. Yeah.
Well, when we were living in Winnipeg, we started volunteering the burn center, the children's burn center, and we did that for years. Not that I remember it now, but we started there.
Yes.
And then when we moved to Thunder Bay, I became a candy striper, and it's been going from there ever since. And the list is
endless.
Well, I've tried a little bit of everything. I've done scout leader for 7 years, took a crew to Prince Edward Island for a jamboree. That was quite the trip.
I'm sure.
Oh, Lord. And then I've helped with Heart and Stroke and the MS Society and Hogarth Riverview Manor and St. Joe's Care Group. And I've done a few other things in between, but the biggest one is doing income tax for low-income residents of Thunder Bay, the seniors with the 55 Plus Center, and I also have been volunteering with Lakehead Social Planning for the last, I think it's about 10 years now.
When you do the income tax at both places,
yes,
and which is very significant, what does that make you feel like? What does that do for you as an individual?
Well, I go home some nights thinking, why am I still doing this?
Yeah, I can imagine.
But when you get those people that are so grateful that they don't have to rely on their kids to come and help them do their income tax. And a lot of people that have had their children help them have missed out on a lot of benefits that are available for seniors. So it's a really good feeling when they can come in, keep their independence, do it on their own, and receive the benefits that they're supposed to be receiving.
That's very important. I know in talking to other people that do income tax for older adults in particular, it's really gratifying to know that you'll get 3 for sure benefits back. I don't want to get off the track of volunteering here onto income tax, but it's still very, very important. Going back to your volunteer commitment, do you give a lot of time in a week, for example?
Well, this is the wrong time of year to ask that because now I've got probably, I do about 22 hours a week with about 16 with Lakehead Social Planning, and that's all done from home, and then about 6 to 10 hours at the 55 Plus.
But if it was an average, like if you weren't doing the income tax, you were doing some of the other commitments that you have, what would be an average amount of time that you would give for volunteering?
Well, there was some times when I had our son at home, and I would only do maybe 4 hours a week. That was where I started, and it was enough because I was working, I was involved in sports, and trying to maintain my home and job and child, and I could only give so much at that time. But it was still an outing where I wasn't doing housework.
Do you think a volunteer has to have certain skills? I mean, aside from the fact that you need to know financial for the finance or for the income tax, but what other skill areas do you think a volunteer is required for?
Just to be sociable. Just to be able to talk to people. Like we have some volunteers that start every year to do the income tax, and that's their last year because it's more than they chose to take on, but they all say the same thing, that it was really good to meet new people and know that you're doing something good for them. May not be the greatest thing for you to do at the time when you take it on, but after you've gone home and you think, well, I helped somebody today.
And that's so it's a feeling of self-satisfaction.
Yes, very much.
Yeah. What kind of skills do you think that you need to have if you were going to start off volunteering now, and as I say, let's set aside the income tax component. What kind of skills do you think a volunteer needs?
To be able to listen, to be patient is a big one. Not to be too opinionated, because you can really go astray with different people. I think just keep it low key and try to get along.
Right, just with people generally. One of the things there is in Thunder Bay is an acknowledgement that we do have a good volunteer base for whether it's putting on the Winter Games that we just did, or we've got the Scotties coming up, or whatever. That it's a feeling of goodwill in a person. Do you see that is permeates with seniors in particular, or is it what you think of as for all ages?
Well, what I've seen in the last 15 years with the 55 plus is there's a lot of older volunteers. It's the age group that I'm in right now that a lot of them have grandchildren that they have to babysit, that the time isn't there to take on a volunteer position. But I've just had I've got twin grandsons.
Oh, okay.
They're now 9 months old.
Yes.
And I can still find the time to get and spend with them and do a little bit of volunteering.
One of the things as we get older, and I'm in that age group, a number of my friends are passing away, and I find I keep calling it saying I have to go out and make new friends. So a way to do that is by volunteering. Is that something that you've ever thought about?
Yes.
Of making new friends?
I've made all kinds of new friends with volunteering. Some of them aren't lifetime friends. Some of them are just acquaintances that we try to keep in touch with. And life sometimes get in the way of getting together with people. But I just met someone the other day that had never been to the 55 plus. Had never done any volunteering work. And I happened to do her income tax. And I said, well, meet me and we'll do this and we'll have a talk and just see what it's like there. There might be something that you like to do or something that you would be willing to give of your time to help somebody else. And she said, you know what, I've always thought about doing it, but I think I needed a push to get here.
And so you have involved another person to come out of their shell, so to speak, and out of their home and that isolation that people tend to get themselves into.
Well, when we were doing COVID, when it was time with COVID and we were doing income tax at home, I phoned one woman and it was the third person she had talked to in 6 months.
Oh my.
So here I am trying to race through and I thought, no, this person needs another 15 or 20 minutes of my time just to talk to them. And that was a real good feeling doing that one.
So that's a volunteer commitment as well. I mean, it's not doing income tax or anything else. It's just talking to somebody.
Yeah. And when you have people come in and say, I'm just so lonely. And then I'll say, well, take a step, come up here and talk to somebody. Somebody here will find something that you like to do.
Sharon, thank you for providing your insight into volunteering. Thank you on behalf of the total community for the work that you do, not only with income tax, but any other volunteer commitment that you make. It's so very, very important. I've really appreciated you coming today.
I've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Otway, our guest this evening. Well, here we are back with Age Friendly, and the fact is that it's Volunteer Month, or the month of April is Volunteer Month, and we're talking to 3 different volunteers here in our community during our segment. And Sherry Simons is our volunteer for this segment of our program. And Sherry, you mentioned to me just before we started to tape that you were a professional long-term volunteer. You've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, I've been doing it since my kids were little in Cubs.
So it became part of your lifestyle.
Yeah, and my dad did it too, so it was just it just was an automatic.
As an older adult senior in our community, what do you actually volunteer for now?
Well, right now, the main one I do is I'm at the 55 Plus Center every week, and I just do 3 hours in the office. And then I used to do the library, and I used to do the when you first come in, the information desk, but I really prefer the office.
So what would your actual, say how many days a week do you do that?
I just do that 3 hours once a week.
Oh, that's not very long. I mean, it's not a huge commitment.
No, it's not a huge commitment, and they certainly need more volunteers to help out in there.
All right.
I just find it's enough. It's stimulating. I get to see lots of people that come through those doors. Some I know, and some are just new to town. So I like, if I have time, I'll show them around. But never a dull moment in that office.
No, I'm sure, because they have so many programs and all the rest of it at the 55
the
plus.
phone's always ringing. There's questions. There's photocopying. You name it.
So somebody, when you go in, say for your 3-hour segment, what do you actually physically do at that point in time?
Answering the phone. Right now we have these lunch and learns that are going on that are free for the public. So usually every Tuesday I start phoning to remind them to come.
Right.
Or if times change or something like that. So like I can phone. One day, I think I phoned over 80 people to remind them. So So I do a lot of phone calling. There's always one of the instructors needs some photocopying done. We have a new photocopier, and that was a real challenge to learn how to work a photocopier there.
Yes.
But and then just helping the girls in the office or whatever. Tessa, who is our volunteer coordinator, needs, or Lisa. There's just so many little jobs, monitoring the bulletin boards, making sure they're up to date, just answering the phone, and right now, the income tax.
Correct.
So we're doing lots of phoning, or people are coming in, we have to ask questions and make sure that we sign them up. Show them where to go. So,
did you have to do any training before you became a volunteer?
They gave us some training, yes, and of course, they have to know that you can answer the phone. You've got some skills for being polite, being patient.
Right.
I think having a good knowledge of Thunder Bay is really helpful, and they just make sure that you're going to be comfortable in that position.
In whatever. Now, you do other volunteer work in the community.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I help out at the Consortium Aurora Borealis when that's happening at the church, at St. Paul's United Church. I help out at Magnus. I helped out with the Ontario Winter Games. And every year when Lappy has their national games, I usually go out there and help out with whatever job they want me to do as well.
The theme for this year's volunteer month or week is Every Moment Matters. When you think about every moment mattering, how do you look at that as a volunteer? What moment matters to you as a volunteer?
I just think when someone comes through that door, you don't know where they're at that point.
Right. Yeah.
And I always make them feel comfortable that I'm not too busy to answer their questions. You have to be patient with some of them because, when people are coming in, they're either hard of hearing, they have vision issues, mental health issues. And with my background as a nurse in all areas of nursing, I found that's really been helpful too. And it makes me feel happy to know that I can help with someone there, whatever.
When you're out in the community volunteering, whether it's a church or whatever, is there always a need that you look at and that there might be something else that you can volunteer at as well?
Oh yeah, I'm always asking for if there's someone else. I'm also with the Thunder Bay District the Hiking Association, so I've been volunteering with that as a leader, and I'm on the executive.
Right.
I just love to be out in the public and
being with people. And
being with people, but also letting people know what is available in Thunder Bay. I mean, I've been here most of my life, and I love it here, and I'm a very outdoors person, so it's always nice to be able to tell people about activities, what's going on.
Your contribution is significant. It really, truly is. We're very fortunate to have you as an individual, but we're also very fortunate to have the numbers of volunteers that we have here in Thunder Bay.
Yes, there are quite a few, and I know over the years I've talk people into becoming volunteers because I know it makes me feel good that I can contribute something to society.
One of the things that is something new that's happening. I belong to the Thunder Bay Association of Volunteer Administrators, and they're now talking about the fact that we should be paying volunteers, and I have a problem with that. I really do, because I said that's not volunteering. Why are we paying people? Like, I don't understand that. Mm-hmm. I'd be interested in your perspective on it, because volunteering generally is you just do it.
Yeah, I worked for very many
mm-hmm.
years, and I just figured that it's now just time that I can sit back. And I mean, sometimes I can't show up mm-hmm. at a job, or I call them jobs.
Correct, yeah.
Because they are kind of like a job.
Right.
But I've just never really thought about being paid to be a volunteer. That's why you volunteer.
Correct.
And when I go to the movie, or if I listen to some phenomenal Baroque music at the consortium, mm-hmm. I'm a volunteer, but I'm getting paid, yeah. basically, because I'm not, not paying for the concert.
Right. Does it bother you having to drive for something, or going on a bus to actually, because there is an outlay from you as an individual? Is that mm-hmm. something that you would ever, no, I'm just curious about that.
No, it's never been a problem. I mean, I've gone as far as Lappy to volunteer, and that's
right.
fine.
Right.
Sometimes we carpool. If I've got other friends that we volunteer right. together, and we often will carpool. Mm-hmm. I've picked up many people to go to different organizations right. to volunteer. So yeah, I just have never, I've been really lucky. I have a car.
Yes.
So I can drive, and I've got some friends that can't drive. So, whether it's eye issues or whatever, they just don't have a license. Do
you ever sit down at the end of a year, or periodically, I guess, and think about how much you actually volunteer, the time commitment you make to that? Is that something you just do it?
No, really, I just do it. I just enjoy it. And, some people think, why are you doing all that? And I said, It gives me joy, and otherwise I'd be probably sitting at home, or I do a lot of walking on my own, mm-hmm. but I like the socialization as well.
And that's really important, because many of our older adults, unfortunately, are isolated and choose to not get out.
Right.
So if you were advising somebody who might be watching our program and saying, what would you give them as a lead into looking at volunteering and getting out of their home? What would you say to them?
I think just if you're at home and you're bored, or you're mm-hmm. lonely, there's lots of positions that you can use, especially at 55 plus. It's amazing the number of things that people can do there. Mm-hmm. And so I've just always encouraged people to spread your wings and try something new.
And don't be afraid of just trying it.
Right, and if it doesn't work for you, they've got other options.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why, and I do a lot of things, and that's why I've done the library, I've done the breast, or we were used to do the blood pressure clinic. I did that for a while. So I've just changed some things, because I like to try different things too.
Thank you very much, Sherry. Well, welcome back to Age Friendly, and we're very pleased that you're recognizing the fact that this month of April, and if you're watching it at the first part of May, still April was Volunteer Month. And our last guest for this segment is Reggie Duncan, who is well recognized in our community for the volunteer work. And Reggie, thank you for coming on the program. Yeah. Really pleased to have you here.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here.
Well, thank you. So tell me I know what you do, a lot of the things, but tell our community, what do you do for volunteering?
Well, I volunteered for the Buskers Fest.
Right.
5 years in a row. Mm-hmm. And 1 year we couldn't volunteer because of COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Yeah, and that shut us down, I guess.
For the buskers there.
Yeah.
And they're planning to have that again this year, aren't they? So you're going to volunteer again?
Yes. Yeah.
What about volunteering for the games? We just finished the Winter Games.
Yes, I did.
You did that
once,
as well.
But when a person volunteers, it turns out differently. You don't expect it to be the same as other volunteer positions. Mm-hmm.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I only got to volunteer 1 day at the airport.
Oh, so you would have liked to have volunteered for the 2 weekends?
Yeah, or more volunteer hours, like at bowling or something.
Yeah. Now, you participate in the Special Olympic Games.
Yes.
So when they had the Special Olympics here, but was it 3 or 4 years ago, did you volunteer for that as well?
Yes, as a part of our cheer squad.
And what did you do with that? Like, I mean, what did you actually do with the cheer squad?
We practice our cheer squad at one of the local schools here.
Right.
On Arthur.
Okay, and you actually went out and you
St.
learned?
Patrick's High School.
Okay, that's where
practice,
you were.
Yeah.
Right. So did you actually go out and do cheers and everything during those games?
Yes. But not during the games.
No. Okay.
At the venues we did.
Oh, right. All right.
Yeah. And we weren't paired up. We were separate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what do you do as a volunteer? Like some of the things that you do, like in regards to when you get to the volunteer, what do you do?
I greet people as they come in or say.
Yeah. And you do a lot of greeting?
Yes.
So when they come. All right. What do you talk to them about the city or?
Yes.
All right.
And what the city has to offer.
Sure. You're a great ambassador.
I try my best.
I know you do. That's what. In the past, not only you've done a lot of work with various politicians.
Yes.
And you've helped them with their campaigns and things like that.
Yes.
And that's what do you do when you're a campaign for somebody that's running in the election? What do you do for them?
Well, there's buttons that you have to put together for the campaign.
Okay.
And then you go through the voters list and make phone calls.
And you make the phone calls for them as well?
Yeah.
And
if you're up to it.
Right. And you promote that individual in whatever way you can. Yeah. What do you like the most about volunteering, Reggie?
The people around that come in, that's the other volunteers. Yeah. And you meet them for the first time, and maybe you have a connection.
And do you have relationships with those people afterwards? Like, do you continue to you meet them in the community and see them again?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yes.
Make a lot of friends by volunteering. How often do you go out in a week to volunteer, or do you have a set time amount, or whenever something comes along?
I really don't.
No, okay.
Just comes natural.
All right. When an event comes to the city and you say you're going to volunteer, do you sign up and just?
Yes.
How do you do
Online.
that? Online?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to Country on the Bay website and filled out
their forms.
Yeah.
And then somebody calls you and away you go.
Just as it gets closer.
Right.
And they know me out there from 3 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that volunteers often get is a T-shirt or a toque.
Yeah.
You must have quite a number of T-shirts.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, of all the things that you volunteered for over the years, when you do not have a car, Reggie, I know, and so you have to transport by public transportation.
Correct.
Or somebody drives you. Is that a problem for you when you're volunteering?
It can be at the best of times.
Okay. But you seem to get around it and manage it.
Yeah.
Do people help you out on occasion if you're volunteering?
Yes.
Okay, they'll come and pick you up, for example?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Or you will use a bus?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we have bus service and everything. That helps us.
Or you can phone the people that you're volunteering with, the organization, and they can figure something out.
Oh, I never thought about that. That's a good thing that we are telling our community. So if you volunteer and you don't have, if you don't have your own transportation, the organization you're volunteering for can help you with transportation.
Yeah, same with the Winter Games that we just passed.
Right.
If you weren't able to make it, you phone ahead and
they will assist you to
find a different person to fill that vacancy.
What kind of a feeling do you get when you volunteer?
A warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
You just you're giving back to the community.
And it makes you feel good inside, kind of a thing. Yeah. When you get started on this is something that you want to continue to do all the time. Then as long as you're feeling good, you're going to continue to volunteer.
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
It's important to do that.
Yeah, it brings joy. And then you get recognized.
That's true. You do. And so you should
and
do.
you meet very important people besides the point.
Mm-hmm. We're very fortunate, Reggie, that we have you, and we've had, of course, our guests, Sherry Simmons and Sharon Otway on the program today. Really important that we recognize and say thank you to the volunteers. And I want to, on behalf of the community, say thank you, because I know you've done a lot of volunteering in our community.
Too numerous to mention.
Yes, but it's wonderful that you came.
Yeah, we have a whole slew of talented volunteers out there that we don't even know of.
No, that's very true. Well, thank you again for coming on our program today. And I just want to say to the community, another great volunteer is Linda DePiro, who does our one senior moment of exercise with our program, and that will be coming up right away. And we really would like to say thank you to all of the volunteers, particularly those that are older adults and seniors in our community that take the time to give back to our community. So thank you on behalf of the rest of the community for all of the work that you do. Reggie, thanks for coming on the program tonight, and again, our thanks for what you do and contribute and give back to our community. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda DePiro, and today I'm going to teach you some techniques of body tapping. We're going to start by finding our navel, and we're going to go high to the right and low to the left. I'm using my fingers, they're pretty strong, as I kind of stimulate around this area. Why we are going right to left is that's the way our digestive system works. From here, I'm going to use fists and pound the pelvis a little bit here, all the way around. And from there, the quads are pretty strong, so you can still use fists, or you can use your fingertips coming down to the shin. Now, I prefer bare feet because you can tap your feet better, and I also like the idea of grounding with bare feet rather than shoes. Going down the inner thigh, I'm still using my fists, always tap the toes. So, fascia, it requires movement, hydration, and body tapping. So this stimulates our, going down the outside, soft skeleton and connective tissue, deep and also superficial. Coming up, you can compare your lower body to your upper body. Wow. And then continue. Soft tapping through the rib cage, right? Along the collarbone, the back of the head, coming up, branching out. We will hit certain meridian areas that are very sensitive, like the ears and the armpit, okay? So I'm just gonna do one arm. You can do the other one after, tap on top. You can either pound gently or tap. So meridian, like acupuncture points, it's been around for centuries. It has been proven to improve health and well-being. It can boost energy levels, better sleep, reducing stress, anxiety, strengthens the immune system. So keep on tapping and add this to your daily morning regime and before you retire at night.